Hey guys, here's a little update on the Farid K2 that I had done a little video on, I would like to say about a year and a half ago. It might have been more recent than that. But I had gotten this CPM REX-121 K2 from Farid's limited run, and I really like the knife. The steel is excellent, very hard. He says that the spine is about 68, at the edge is about 70, somewhere around there as far as HRC. But one thing I found about the knife was that it was too thin. As you can see right here, there are scales now on it. I have I don't really know what color this is. It's not exactly a Ghost Jade G10. I don't know if it's a Westinghouse kind of bone colored. I also forgot where I got it. But I sent it to Fast LT1 NOS, as he's known on the Blade forums and USN. And he made some scales for me. Now the knife feels perfect as far as the thickness. The one thing I had a hard time with before was the knife being so thin. I would have a hard time unlocking the frame lock. I mean, this is an 1/8" titanium, but the knife being so thin, my fingers here would be holding the lock, and it'd be flexing. It was almost very hard to close because of the flex that was occurring between, I guess, these fingers and where I was unlocking it. Now with the scales, it's effortless now. Andrew did a really good job. I sent him the screws, I sent him the material, and I told him what I wanted. I told him I didn't need to have access to the lanyard hole, because I didn't want to carry this with a clip. I have a sheath for it, a belt sheath, because I think it's a little too big to carry in the pocket. For comparison, this is a Super Karambit from Emerson, and I don't know if you can see the difference. This is a big honking knife. The Karambit, although it only has a 3-inch blade, it's got a really big handle, and the handle on this is about the same size as the K2, except that, see what I'm saying? Here's a regular CQC7, which also, by the way, Andrew did for me. Andrew did both of these for me. This came with a reground blade for one, and some scales. The Coyote G10 scales were sanded quite poorly, I might add. I got it from a fellow member over at the USN, and I figured it was a good candidate to get customized. So I sent it to Andrew, and this is what he came back with. It's so much nice. I don't know who did the regrind. The person I bought it from says Tom Crine did it, although I would think if Tom did it, he would have his logo on here, and it doesn't. The other person I can think of is maybe Philip Dobson, who coincidentally has a few of my knives, getting some work done on them. But I felt it was a good candidate for customization because the regrind is so sweet. The blade is not, oh, sorry for the glare, but the blade is nice. It's got a 0 edge on it, and Andrew totally did the knife justice by giving it the bolsters and the micarta. I told him to just put a lanyard hole on one side, so he did that sort of thing, where he kind of like tunneled the lanyard hole through the back spacer and out the one side, so it's clean on this side. See, kind of stealthy, but I like the way it came out. Love it. Now this other one I also got from a fellow USN member, and he was taking a bath on the price he was selling this for. I mean, it had originally been customized by another pretty popular, pretty famous customizer, pimper. I guess that's the term to use. But I didn't like the way it turned out. Apparently, neither did he. The scales were a Ghost G10 with a carbon fiber bolster, like a yin-yang pattern. It was carbon fiber here, Ghost G10 here, Ghost G10 here, carbon fiber here. Kind of like an opposite theme on either side. But it had a sprocketed or geared backspacer. But the problem was the backspacer was so thick and the handle scales were kind of fitted, ill-fitted. Or maybe it was because of the backspacer, but the blade, no matter how hard you tightened it, had a wiggle. You could shake it and the blade would wiggle. I guess what it needed was the backspacer to be trimmed down or maybe thicker so that the screws for the scales wouldn't bottom out on the other side where they were supposed to go through. Anyway, I just sent the whole thing to Andrew. Again, Fast LT1 NOS. And this is what he came up with. Super work. It didn't have a clip, so he put a clip on there. But he does excellent work. Bead blasted. The liners, just the same as what he did with this. I mean, I wish I had done a video of what they look like before I sent them out. But, you know, it'll be unfair to the person who previously worked on them, I guess. But still, the important thing is these came back like this. And I am a big fan. Andrew has done excellent work for me. Like this K2 feels like a totally different knife, and it's so nice now compared to the way it was before. It was so thin, and the blade kind of seemed, I would say, mismatched to the handle because of the thinness of the handle. But now it's perfect. Talk about a beefy knife. This is the epitome of what that should be. Now, my hand, just to give you a sense of perspective, that's a super karambit. A lot of people can't wrap their hands around it, or are comfortable wrapping their hands around it and prefer the combat karambit for that reason. But this is just right for me, to give you an idea of how big this K2 is. Here's a CQC10. See? The CQC10 feels just right in my hand. Almost borderline. If it were any smaller, it would be too small. That's how it fits in my hand. The Emerson Persian, which by the way I just got this from Nat today. Perfect knife. So comfortable. I love this knife. You know, a lot of people describe it as being so wicked looking, and I agree. It is one of my most wicked yet elegant looking knives. It is beautiful. But compared to K2, look at that. A lot of people can't believe how big the Persian is when they first get it. K2 is just a little bigger. Definitely a lot heavier. But damn. It's a hell of a cutter. I was afraid that the steel might be chipping, and but it's held up to a lot of the things I've used it for. It whittles really great for something that's thick. But when I used it before with the really thin handles, it was a little bit more difficult to manage than it is now. Andrew really did a great job on these. And again, these are the 3 knives I've had done by Fast LT1 NOS, Andrew Charlet. He's known as Fast LT1 NOS on Blade Forums and the USN. So do check him out. Again, thanks for watching, and until next time.